Hello and welcome to Heroes World TGIF. It's Andre and I'm joined by my wingman Jesse. Jesse, how you doing?
Not bad at all. Not bad. How are you today?
I am doing very, very well. Listen, it is the 17th of December. Can you believe Christmas is a week away? And not only Christmas, but people are out there losing their minds about Spider-Man No Way Home. So we are not going to talk about anything Spider-Man related in this. And
What?
if you're lucky enough to go see that movie, spoiler free, let people get a chance, especially where we are in Ontario. They just changed some of our lockdown restrictions and a lot of people had their tickets canceled and have to reschedule. So again, if you're one of those lucky people who got to see this movie, don't spoil it for the people that have to wait and might be pushed back by a couple of days. But I know so many people out there excited about Spider-Man. For me, it's all about The Witcher season 2 dropping today on Netflix. And yes, I was one of those guys up at 5 a.m. to
Oh,
watch that first episode. So, we are going to talk a little bit about the first episode of season 2 of The Witcher on Netflix.
yes.
I know it's a little bit of our change because we usually jump right into comics, but this is huge. So, yeah, Jesse, did you get a chance to watch The Witcher episode 1?
I did. I did, and I really enjoyed it. What did you think of it at first glance?
Oh man, listen, first glance, I got to tell you, uh it really I was super hyped and it delivered. Part of it was definitely the excitement, and we waited 2 years for it. But let me give you a little bit of context, little connotations to this. So when the first Witcher series came out, again, it was 2 years ago, and it came out on a Saturday, and it was, I think, December 17th. So it was going to be one of the last Saturdays before retail Christmas. And I remember calling John at about 11:30 saying, "Hey John, is it okay if I come in at 1? I'm watching the show on Netflix and I'm kind of hooked." And then I called him at like 2, and then I called him at like 3, and I literally binged the whole show in one sitting. It was the first time I'd ever done that for a Netflix show. Hook, line, and sinker. Didn't end up going to work that day, so I'm glad it happened. It came out on a Friday, so I can go to work tomorrow and do my duty and help everybody with their Christmas shopping. But man, let me tell you, that season 1 just left such a great impression on me. It was fabulous. Great storytelling, great characters, and a really well done adaptation from what I know.
Yeah.
Let me also say that for The Witcher, I played the video games on the Xbox. I own the novels, but I hadn't read them. So I'm not, I'm sure there's people who read the books and everything, and they're like, oh no, the TV show deviated quite a bit, but it was still entertaining for me. So maybe I'm going to cut it some slack because I don't know as much about it. But yeah, highly entertaining season 1, and I was bringing all of that kind of excitement, and now I've got a higher bar
Yeah.
for season 2 because I enjoyed season 1 so much. So first episode, man, did it ever deliver? Picks
Yeah.
up right where season 2 leaves off. So please watch season 2 first if you haven't watched it, and then you're gonna just be jumped right into it. Yeah, fantastic. Henry Cavill, as always, just killing it, killing it. He is Geralt of Rivia, but I gotta say, oh my god, I'm totally loving the performance of I'm gonna hopefully pronounce her name right, Freya Allen, and she plays Princess Cirilla, and she's just wow, just fantastic. Like there's moments in this performance where you see strength, you see determination, you see, there's a moment in it where uh, Geralt says, "I will protect you," or "I won't let harm come to you," and she gets this like little smile at the, and I'm just like, yes, I'm seeing this emotion, I'm seeing this connection being built. So really, really loving her performance. We only saw Yennefer at the end of this episode, and so I can't wait to see more of her, because she stole the first season for me. I really loved her performance and her character arc and her story, and stuff. But yeah, just really freaking loving this show so far. I did watch more than episode 1, but I don't want to go too much into it, because I make sure people have a chance to watch it. But I highly recommend this show for sure. What about you, Jesse?
I don't know if you picked up on this, but did you get a lot of similarities between Witcher season 2 episode 1 and the Witcher animation they brought out not too long ago? What was it called? The Wolf. Sorry, the name escapes me, but it's their only
Yep.
animation they have right now. We start off and there's a carriage driving through a town. The man gets off, he gets attacked by a monster.
Yep.
The boy gets off, he gets attacked by a monster. The girl's left there by herself, and then she gets attacked by a monster. I think that's the exact same way the Nightmare of the Wolf
Yep.
starts, is with the carriage rolling into a town, and the Witcher has to stop it. Highly recommend that animation too. We talked
Oh,
about it. We talked about
yeah.
it before on a video way back there. If you want to check it out, scroll down on the playlist. But great start.
Yeah.
Tormund
Honestly,
from Game of Thrones made an appearance, and he was the Boar Man who dropped a lot of wisdom. I
yep.
believe his line was he was talking to Suri, and he said, "Not all monsters are born; they become monsters." And that relates right back to the I always forget the name, the Nightmare of the Wolf, because
Yep.
that was all about becoming a monster.
No, for sure.
Right?
And I think you have a slide of him, if we can bring that up, because it's wow, the transformation from before, when he was like, yeah, look at him
Yeah, yeah,
on Game of Thrones, and then you see him here. And at first it looks kind of comical and stuff, but it really grows on you. And so this particular episode, I think it does a couple things really well. First of all, it like I said, it does pick up right where the other seasons left off, but it doesn't like punch you right into the main plot. They've got this little side story, and it encompasses exactly what The Witcher is all about.
yeah.
So he's going to go across the land, he's going to slay monsters, but he's going to do it with a sense of morality and honor, and stuff. And this one again, it kind of starts. It's almost like a pilot episode, So, do you want to know what the Witcher series is? Hey, this is what it's going to be about. And they did a really cool job, especially talking about this gentleman and his curse. And then we have, I want to show it, so let's show it. The spoiler of I won't name names, but yeah, this is the monster that the Witcher ends up fighting in the first episode. So again, it had action, it had character development. Like Jesse said, it
All
was
the
kind of,
acting was over the top. Like all the acting was perfect. I
oh yeah,
knew I knew Yennefer was gonna be in the series because her name's in the credits, but
yep,
they had me believing that Yennefer was dead,
yeah,
right? Like, and,
yeah,
and
no,
and that says a
it was
lot, right? Sorry, go ahead.
stellar, stellar first episode. So yeah, hopefully, if you guys have time this weekend, you're gonna break away from Spider-Man, and you're gonna break away from your Christmas shopping, right? That you'll be able to check this series out, because it is so totally worth your time and then some. This season 2 is only 8 episodes, but it's a real treat, because I think almost every episode is 1 hour or close
Yeah.
to an hour. So yeah, so do yourself a favor, get some popcorn, get your favorite snack, and just put some time and get ready to be amazed, because like I said, this series so far, it's amazing. And if you haven't watched season 1, get the heck onto that, because it sets up everything. The one gripe about season 1 is definitely changed. There's no more of this jumping timeline. It's following all one timeline, so you should be totally fine with that. I know our friend John from the store, my business partner, he finally powered through season 1, and he's all on board for season 2. So we will get his opinion on that in some of our other Heroes World videos. Probably going to be the discussion of our podcast this Sunday, probably this and some Spider-Man. So so that's what I'm doing this weekend, is The Witcher, and probably The Witcher and more Witcher. Won't be going to see Spider-Man this weekend, but again, if you guys are going to see it, make sure you keep it spoiler free. And I'm sure you guys all know, but apparently there is a end credit trailer that you need to stay and watch. But everybody knows that for these Marvel movies. But if not, you've heard it here and you have been forewarned. So, Jesse, let us get into our nitty gritty, what we're here to do, what we're here to talk about. We love our comic books.
Yes.
And Heroes World's a comic store, obviously, and a game store, hobby store, multi-purpose store. We carry so much cool stuff, but you and I are just big, huge comic fans. So we always like to bring you guys comic content, like what we are loving in comics. So this week's episode, we're going to do 2 comic related things. We're going to talk about our comic spotlight of the week. So that's the one book Jesse and I both agree was just amazing and worthy of picking up. And we're also going to go back in time and check out what came out last week, just because, there's always so many books and we want to make sure that we give most of them their due. Obviously can't do everything, but when you can only pick one a week, there's some that definitely get left behind. So without further ado, our comic book spotlight of the week is Batgirls by DC Comics. And wow, what a stellar first issue. Let me speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for Jesse here too. I've become a really big fan of I think it's George Corona, who is the artist, and this is the guy who we just finished off with The Me You Love in the Dark. He did all the art for that, so he's doing the art for this. And this is just a fun, action-packed romp where we have got Cassandra Kane and Stephanie moving into a new building with Barbara Gordon, who's Oracle. And it's almost like this kind of, I don't want to say like slumber party or whatever, but it's kind of like this like, hey, we're moving in as roommates and let's have some fun. Let's see what our neighborhood's all about. And then of course, they're vigilantes, they're going to get in trouble. Cool thing about this book so far is they are integrating the stuff that has happened in recent the Batman universe, where Oracle has been hacked, so she cannot rely on all her technology. So when they go to this neighborhood, they've basically got to do it old school. They've got to recon the area. They've got to set up low tech that can't be hacked. They even go out buying walkie-talkies, and I like those little touches. I think Becky Cloonan's doing the writing, so yeah, top-notch stuff. A lot of fun. It's a bright, colorful book. And it's got a lot of charm and a lot of humor in that. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed that first issue. What about you, Jess?
I really enjoyed it too. And you said it was like a slumber party, the book, and I would completely agree with that. It's like a slumber party mixed with you've seen the movie Step Brothers, right? There was that little scene where they're like, I get the top bunk, you get the bottom bunk. It's just a fun, playful comic. This week I also read Batman Imposter, which was really gritty, really tough to read. Not tough to read, but dark. And this one was just uplifting and fun. Barbara Gordon's like the mother figure, making dinner for the kids. What do you want for dinner tonight? We've got noodles, and we've got noodles, and we've got noodles. So you pick what noodles you want, right? Like
it was really cool because you get this. All their personalities come out. Like Cassandra Kane is she's not very vocal and she's very like to the point, and you got Stephanie Brown, who she's just like, bouncing all over the place. She's like, oh, you're so much fun. You're so cool. So you're really getting their vibes. This is the 2 covers here. The cover, I think it's B and C, and that's both done by the artist In Hyuk Lee. Yeah, fabulous other covers for it. But yeah, I got high hopes for this book. Traditionally DC's always had like Batgirl books and stuff, and they literally fluctuate so much in popularity. Like they're hot for a while and then they just kind of trail off. But hopefully they hit on something here by having these three fan favorite characters in it all the time. Maybe we'll get some of that Birds of Prey vibe, and hopefully that'll keep the book, consistently going. So yeah, definitely love it. Let's show some of those action scenes because the two of them fighting. Oh man, it was super cool. Yeah, I think this is the one here. If we can pull that up, Jesse.
Before we move on, real quick, Cassandra Kane and Stephanie Brown, you know where they come from, right? Stephanie Brown is the daughter of what's the criminal's name? What's his name? Sorry, I'll just go back a little bit here to the two of them. Yep. Stephanie Brown is the one down there in purple, the one to the
she's in purple.
left. Yep. So
she was formerly Spoiler, right?
Yep, and she's been kind of adopted into the Bat family, and she's been known to be girlfriends to Tim Drake, right?
Yep.
It's Tim Drake, the newest Robin. Cassandra Kane, though, I don't really know much about her. Can you fill me in a little bit?
Cassandra Kane is the daughter of the assassin Kane and the other deadly assassin Shiva. She was trained since birth to be an assassin, so much so that she was never trained in language. So she was trained in body language. So that's what makes her such an impressive fighter. Like, she reads your body language, and there's no slowdown, there's no second guessing, because she can just see. So of course, when she runs into Batman and the Bat family, they take her in and they kind of, I don't want to use the word deprogram her, but show her that there's more to life than just fighting. But there was a moment in her introduction when Batman was like, he was afraid to fight her because she is, and she will be probably the deadliest fighter in the DCU as she ages and gets better. But yeah, so she's a pretty cool character. I do really like that aspect when they talked about her being able to just read body language. But again, she's a trained killer, so all of these instincts she has to suppress by being the hero and being the vigilante, and it's what she's learned over her time with the Bat family. So she's a cool character. She went by the name of Orphan for a little while, and so there's a darkness to her and a little bit of a rough edge, but again, I'm sure we're going to see how that is just going to be part of how this book is written, and we're going to get those three different personalities and stuff. So
at a little bit of a side note, I believe Stephanie Brown was in the Batwoman TV series. She made an appearance in one of the episodes, helping out the Batwoman crew. But yeah, let's move on to the images. What do you think of the art? We both.
Yeah, honestly, I love it, and it is a little bit different than the Me You Love in the Dark. I think the color treatment is very much the same, but it's definitely a little bit more like cartoony and stylized here. So I really, really like it. I like how he plays with their capes. Sometimes you don't even know like how's the cape attached, but you know that it is part of that character. And I think it's almost like the capes themselves are going to be a character of their own, almost. Like, you look at how cool Stephanie's is. It's kind of big, but then you've got Cassandra's, and it just looks like a bat wing, and it looks a little bit more ominous. And then there's a cool fight scene where the two of them are like propelling off of each other, and so it's a very kinetic book. Yeah, just really, it's just super, super cool. Yeah, honestly, sometimes these books come out and they're new, and people don't want to give them a chance. They don't want to try them because it's kind of new or whatever. But I think these are not new characters, but it's a new scenario for those characters, and it's going to be a formula that works, and it's all about putting these characters into a a new situation and seeing how they come up. But I just love this panel here. If we can make this one a little larger, I'll go to the full screen. Here we go. Yeah, like look at that panel where Cassandra Kane is just, you know, propelling off of Stephanie's back to deliver the kick. And then you've got them kind of back to back, you know. Yeah, so it's, again, super cool. So this book literally had everything. It was funny. It had some mystery. It had lots of action. And it drops, again, some templates for where they're going to be going forward after this. So, yeah, so honestly, another, you know, top pick. You know, sometimes for us, it's we have to decide what book we're going on, you know, and it takes a little while. But I think this week we both were flipping through the books on Tuesday when they came in, and we're like, wow, this looks really good. Let's read this one. And then we're like, oh man, yeah. So highly recommend it. Check it out at your local comic book store, or come and get a copy from us if you're interested. We've got tons at the store, and more of the variant covers coming in, because I don't think I ordered enough of those ones.
Before we move on, though, you said Tuesday. Did something special happen on Tuesday?
Oh yeah.
Do you want to, without spoiling anything and getting too in details? I was there. I know what happened. Tell everybody else watching right now what happened.
All right. So we had a marvelous customer come by, and if you guys are following us on social media, check us out on our Instagram, Heroes World Online, or our Facebook, Heroes World Online, and you're going to see a picture of myself and an Avenger, shall we say, a up and coming MCU hero. So definitely check that out. Leave a comment there, and we'll talk probably a little bit more about that next week. But that was probably made my week, maybe my couple of weeks there. And the cool thing is, it's like now we can say there's Heroes World has a connection to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that's super, super cool.
And a little bit to add to that is, didn't this person kind of make us honorary Avengers? Kind of, a little bit. Not to brag or anything, but
it can be interpreted that way.
Yes.
So I like that. I like that for sure. So yeah, so check out our Instagram. If you don't already follow us, please do so, or definitely check us out on Facebook and YouTube. Of course, if you're here on Twitch, you know where to find us here. But lots of stuff to see on our Instagram page, which is growing very rapidly too. So you want to get on that. All right, so let's dive right back into comic book news. We talked about our pick of the week. Now we are last week in comics. We're going to go back in time. So again, great weeks in comics recently. So many good books, but we've picked a couple to spotlight here. Yeah, let's start with the first one.
A Superman, Son of Kal-El by Tom Taylor. This is the first annual for Jonathan Kent. I don't know about you, but I'm going to kind of dub this book my favorite new book of the year, ongoing book.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that means a lot because I never read Superman, but this is kind of, how do I put this? It's everything I want in a comic book and more, right? So this one is the annual, comes out once a year. So we see at the very beginning that guy down there, Lex Luthor, is in jail, and he's talking to Kal-El, Superman, playing a game of chess, which comes up later in the comic. But they're just discussing Lex wants to change the world. Superman doesn't really want him to. He wants him to sit in jail and spend the rest of his days in there. After that, we catch back up with Jonathan Kent, and he has a special guest come to his house, and it is Batman. Why I like Tom Taylor so much and his writing and this book is because of the little nuggets of the DC universe that he puts in. He's always adding characters and little backstory. So Batman comes, Jonathan asks him, "Can I get you a drink?" Batman replies with, "Could I get an Earl Grey tea? If you have it." Jonathan says, of course we have it. Alfred always sends us a case of Earl Grey tea. What was it? Every month? Every week?
Every month. Yeah, I love
Every,
that part. That was so cool.
and Bruce Wayne says, wow, I didn't know that Alfred sends all my friends and close family Earl Grey tea, just because if I drop by, I'll want an Earl Grey tea.
Yeah.
But Batman gives him a little. I don't read Superman. What are those things called?
So I think it's a memory. It's like a memory crystal for the Fortress of Solitude.
Yes, and he says, Superman, Clark Kent wanted me to give this to you. So do you think Batman's going to kind of be Jonathan's pseudo father figure going on for a bit?
I don't think so. I think he's Tom Taylor's writing Nightwing as well, so I think he's going to lean more on the Nightwing angle of it. But this was a nice touch. You also forgot one of the really funny moments where when Jonathan's at home, there's a knock at the door, and he's like, "Oh, this is strange." And then he goes and opens the door, and it's Batman. He's like, "Batman knocks?" He's like, "I thought you just appear in our kitchen." And then Lois is like, "Oh, he tried that once." And Batman's like, "I will not make that mistake again." So it's really cool. There's some nice humor. I totally agree with what you're saying. This particular book has everything that a comic reader should want. That sense of history, but also a new character, making their place in the world. And like I said, just trying to navigate the legacy of your father while he's not around. So yeah, continue, man. This is a great book. This annual is really good.
And it's a great jumping on point if you haven't. What are they? 5-6 issues in? If you haven't picked up
issue 5.
I think they're almost at trade, right? Trades
Yep.
are usually 1 to 6, so it's a great jumping on point if you want to get caught up on the story going forward. But Batman gives him the crystal there, and Jonathan's going to go figure out what Clark wanted to tell him. So he's flying off to the Fortress of Solitude, and this is why I like him so much. He sees a polar bear stranded on a melted iceberg, and he's like, "Okay, I'll help you." He grabs the polar bear, flies him off to safety. Polar bear looks at him. He's like, "What's wrong with you, man? You hungry?" Polar bear kind of gives him a little nod. So he goes and grabs him a whole bunch of berries from around, leaves him at the bottom of the bear, and he's like, "Oh, you're pregnant. I didn't know that, but I'm not going to go club a seal for you to eat."
Yeah.
And he just flies away. It's just the little cute, clever moments that this book has.
He's human. Like, they show his humanity. They really do a good job of placing, of you really feeling that this guy is genuine, right? So,
and then he goes to the Fortress of Solitude, and surprise, surprise, it's Clark Kent is his crystal. It's the video he sees, or I don't know how it works. Not a Superman fan, but I love this book. So him and Clark have a little conversation. Clark says he'll always be here for Jonathan. Any questions he has, feel free to ask. If he needs help with anything, feel free to ask. And Jonathan says, "I don't think you can actually help me. I have 2 questions for you. When are you coming back? And what was the second one?
And where are you?
And where are you?
And when are you coming back?"
And it kind of just takes Clark by surprise, because he's like, "That's all you need to know." It just shows to me that this Superman's going to make his own path. Right?
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to play by Clark's rules. He's just going to do what he can to make the world a better place.
Definitely.
From there, he has a little chat with his father, and then he goes back home, and we get a little tidbit of Lex. He's out of jail, and he's how do I say it? Up to no good. He sent all these other crime bosses, criminals. What is it? What is that? An iPad? It looks like an iPad.
Yep.
Maybe it's
some type of device.
A Lex pad. We'll call it a Lex pad.
Yeah.
And he says, "All you crime bosses, all you criminals, you are going to pay me, what is it, $100 million each?
1.7 billion.
1.7 billion each." And they all kind of look at it like, "Yeah, we're not doing that." And he's like, "Oh, by the way, there's a lot of nanites in this box that are now attacking you from the inside, and it's just going to take one snap of the fingers for them to kill you." So he's playing the power play here.
Yep.
They hesitate. They're like, did he actually put invisible nanites in here, or is he just bluffing? His personal secretary asks him, "Hey, are you actually going to kill those people?" And he's like, "I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see."
But it's so cool because Tom Taylor nails Lex. Like when Lex is talking to these guys, he's like, you know me. He's like, I don't care. I will do whatever it takes. I have no qualms with killing you guys right now. So you can test me on it or you can pay. And he's like, I know how much you guys are worth. That's a drop in the bucket. Right. So it was just a cold calculating move, but it was pure Lex. Like, so again, Tom Taylor's proven that he can nail writing the good guys, writing the bad guys. Apparently, he's writing fantasy. He's writing alternate reality. He's writing everything. This guy right now, like 2021, has been the year of Tom Taylor. So kudos for that guy for just killing it.
Spoilers: they all pay except one.
Yep.
So Lex buys his own skyscraper, writes LexCorp on the side, and the shadow of the LexCorp falls on the Daily Planet, and now the Daily Planet is in the shadows of LexCorp, which Jonathan doesn't like because the Daily Planet should be the tallest building in Shine. What happened again here? Who sent the robots? That was the
So
little mystery, right?
yeah,
We
that
don't
was
know
the
who
little
sent.
mystery and the misdirect. So it's apparently somebody was attacking LexCorp's new building with LexCorp's own powered robot suits and stuff, and then of course Lex, I guess maybe orchestrated this whole thing, and maybe was counting on Superman to come in to save it. But yeah, there's a team up that happens, and Jonathan's like, hey, I'm not teaming up, but I don't want innocents to get hurt. So again, pure good Superman moment, and stuff, and pretty it's just a pretty classic scene that plays out, but with some modern little twists in there too.
And it had the humor that is
Yep.
always nice. It's right there. Oh, no, the panel before, the page before, Jonathan gets hit by one of the beams, and Lex looks at him. He's like, "I bet that hurt. That hurt Superman some of the time." He's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of hurt." It was a team up, but it wasn't a team up.
Yeah.
So at the end, they have a little discussion. Um, Lex asks Jonathan to come complete the game of chess that Clark started in jail. And Jonathan says, I've never played chess before, but I need to talk to you about something. So, yeah, I'll do it. So they get to the top of LexCorp, and spoilers, Jonathan beats Lex. On his
Yep.
way up to the top of the tower, after cleaning up all the rubble from their little battle before, he studies chess as much as he can. I think he said he had 6 minutes to learn everything he could, and
Yep.
that was everything about chess. So he was super flying through the chess books, and he actually calls Lex out. He's like, "I remember you using this move when you were 6 and you won the tournament. That's
Yep.
how I beat you." At the ending, though, I think it hits. This is why I like the book so much. It kind of hits the real world. Jonathan asks Lex to do more to help save the world. He's got all this money. He's got more money than anybody can ever imagine. Why isn't he trying to
Make the
stop?
planet better.
Yep, because in the first issue, I think we saw forest fires that Jonathan's trying to stop, and then there was wasn't there bad weather in one of them? There's just been a
Oh
whole bunch
yeah.
of natural disasters
Yep.
that
Natural
Jonathan's
disasters. Yep.
put a stop to, and he tells Lex straight up. He's like, "I get why rich people don't want to save the world. They're gonna die before it gets bad. Why not live it up while they can? But you, Lex, you are gonna be here long after everyone's gone. So why not protect the world, save the world for yourself?" And it kind of triggers something in Lex where he's like, "Okay, I'll help you."
Yep. Or he'll
Right?
give it some thought, and that's
He'll,
something that Superman never got Lex to do. Lex was always concerned with just beating Superman, and he would do whatever it took to do that. So it was no consideration about the planet and stuff. So it's showing that there is a difference between Jonathan Kent Superman and Clark Kent Superman, and that how they tackle issues and problems is just fundamentally different. So this isn't just your, you know, Superboy book. You know, this is a different, you know, a different take on it. And I think that's the strength of the book too, because like you said, for you yourself, Jesse, you're not a huge Superman fan, but you're really digging this book. So it's about making that connection to that character and, you know, just believing in the story. And I think again, that's what Tom Taylor is doing an excellent job with it. It's a book that I think everybody should be reading. You know, I've said that since the first issue and stuff. So if you haven't picked it up yet, definitely put it on your radar and check it out. Give at least one issue a shot. And if you can honestly say you don't like it, then you know, comment up and tell us why. Because like I'm freaking loving the book. You know, like Jesse said, probably one of the best books of the last year, for sure.
And Tom Taylor, definitely. I'm going to dub him right now. My favorite author of this year. Every one of the books he puts out has just been unreal. With Nightwing, with Dark Knights of Steel, with Dark Ages. Like every book he's put out has just been a winner in my opinion. Like phenomenal. He's the type of guy to look at the character's backstory, read up as much as he can on the character, and just propel the character forward to the next level.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, no, for sure. Really, really cool. All right. So what else we got for last week in comics? And this is one that's both near and dear to us as big Star Wars fans. So let's talk about Star Wars issue 19.
Now,
brand new story arc.
Before we start here, though, I think we're missing two people. Usually we have two more people with us when we talk about Star Wars, no?
That's true. Our Star Wars book club crew that we review Star Wars. We were doing the Thrawn trilogy. Yep. So let's give a shout out to Megan and Scott. I know they haven't delved into the comic books yet, but maybe this might be the comic to recommend to them. So yeah, we'll check in with them later on. So what did you think about this one, Jesse? This had a lot of references to other Star Wars expanded universe stuff.
Yes.
Not expanded universe, but you know, it's connecting a lot of the other Star Wars realms and media. So let's take us through this one.
So this is the first of a new arc. Luke Skywalker is back. I haven't read Star Wars. I heard about all the references in this book, so I decided to pick it up, see what's going on. Apparently Luke's back. He's been missing for a little bit. He's been off on his own little adventures. He's been letting Leia, Han, Boba Fett, because they just got out of the War of the Bounty Hunters. They've been shining in the Star Wars books, but no, Luke's back and he's trying to train himself. So this takes place in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So he doesn't have anybody to give him the Jedi knowledge he needs to propel him to the next level to beat Vader. So he's heard rumors, inklings. He gets a scripture, not a scripture, a tablet, a document with all these planets to check out that might have Jedi materials on it that can help him in his training. So he asks Leia politely, "Hey, can I take off and just go do my own thing?" And she says, "Of course. Why not? Like, you haven't been here all along. Take off again." But he goes on a little adventure of his own with R2-D2. He goes to this planet called Ilum. Where's Ilum from? Recently
is the most recently was from Jedi Fallen Order. But if you've also know it from Clone Wars and stuff, you know that is one of the planets where the Jedi go to get their lightsaber crystals. So yeah, that's pretty cool. This is from the video game. So that's the last time we had seen Ilum. And man, what an amazing level that was in the game. That was a lot of fun.
That's where you get your new lightsaber, right?
Yep, that's where you forge your lightsaber in the game and it becomes double-bladed. Spoiler alert.
So Ilum, I believe, is Star Killer Base. It's rumored to be Star Killer Base in the new trilogy. If you haven't seen or played the games or watched Clone Wars, it's apparently Star Killer Base.
Ah, interesting.
And then he takes him on another trip to, what's that top planet there? I can't read it. That's not important, but the bottom one, Lothal. Where's Lothal from?
Lethal from my favorite Star Wars of the past little while, Star Wars Rebels.
Yes.
There we go.
Star Wars Rebels. So Luke's doing a little lap of all these known places. He leaves Lethal. I was a little bummed out. He didn't spend much time there. He didn't see any of the Rebels crew.
Yeah.
He makes it to this planet where he's got this real strong feeling that something's there. Sorry, I can't remember the planet name, but he sees all these stormtroopers and he's like, they don't recognize me, so I'm going to go Jedi mind trick him. He goes up to them, tries to do the Force Jedi mind trick, and they say, carry on, kid. What are you doing here? Do we have to arrest you? It didn't work. He hasn't developed that skill yet.
Yeah, he's not strong enough.
Yeah, he doesn't believe himself yet with the Force. So he goes back. He's bummed out. He's like, you know what? I got to find what they're hiding behind these walls. Some guy pulls him in off the side of the street, and he says, I see that lightsaber on your belt there. Are you a Jedi? Luke is kind of hesitant at first, but he doesn't sense any aggression from this guy, and he says, yeah, I'm a Jedi. Well, I'm trying to be one. And he's like, I knew a Jedi once. He saved my life. He gave us his ship so we could escape a planet that was being terrorized by Darth Vader. And I didn't read the Darth Vader books when they were coming out, but apparently this character was in the first few issues of the Darth Vader standalone series.
Cool.
And we actually see what he's talking about in the Darth Vader run.
Nice.
So it's gone full circle here. So
they're picking up their threads from all over, from comics, from video games, from animation, from movies. It's so super cool.
And he said he's not a Jedi. He's like, I don't know what it's like to be a Jedi, but you just gotta be calm and relaxed. And he kind of coaches Luke, kind of gives him belief in himself. And Luke goes back to those stormtroopers to try again, and he gets what he's after.
Yep.
He says, I need what you're hiding, and they go get it, and it's a Jedi holocron. And he goes, he meditates, he opens the holocron, and lo and behold, it's Yoda.
Yes.
To teach him the ways of the Jedi. So it's very neat because in Empire Strikes Back, Luke is left Dagobah to save his friends, and then we see him next in Return of the Jedi after losing a hand, and he's a crazy Jedi. He's doing backflips. He's Jedi mind tricking everybody, and this was a kind of loophole in the series where everyone's like, how did he go from losing his hand and losing a battle to Darth Vader to being
being a master? Yeah.
So we're kind of going on an adventure with Luke on his training and his struggles and how he's going to become that Jedi we see from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. So yeah, crazy good issue, good jumping on point, especially if you do like, and who doesn't like Luke Skywalker. We just finished up like the War of the Bounty Hunter series, which you can pick up on in trade paperback right now, but you can also grab this latest issue and follow this story. So that's really, really cool. But speaking of super cool stuff, just yesterday, Wizards of the Coast, the people behind Magic the Gathering, just previewed or teased their newest set coming out, and it is called Kamigawa Neon Destiny. So let's bring up an image of that. Here we go. And they've been doing some really cool CG trailers. So we're going to try and play this trailer for you, but I just want to drop a couple of things before we get to it. And that the Kamigawa block has been out before, and it was a kind of like a samurai and ninja and kind of like a Japanese themed set and in the Magic universe. And now they're taking that and let's say, as you can see by the name Neon Destiny, that doesn't sound very traditional, ninja or Japanese influence. But let's see if we can play you guys the trailer here, and you'll see what it's all about.
Wow, that looks really cool.
Yeah, so Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Very, very cool, very different look to it, something that is totally new. So Magic the Gathering coming out with looks like your Cyberpunk Shadowrun Blade Runner-esque. Here we go. Here's a look at what the products that are going to be coming out. And this set is coming out in I believe February. So as always, there's going to be draft booster packs. That's your standard Magic the Gathering pack. You can draft out of it. There's going to be the set booster packs. Set booster packs are guaranteed foil, better rarity distribution in it. That's if you want to collect the set. And of course, the collector boosters are in there. Collector boosters give you all kinds of alternate art cards, foil cards, everything. The art in this set is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, check out this. This is one of the images here that they've sent for the promotional images. I just love the look of this. This is, like I said, you got your cyberpunk look, your Blade Runner. Like, I think it's going to be super cool. It's very different, and I applaud Wizards of the Coast for reaching out and trying different things. We've already had the Dungeons and Dragons Magic set. There's going to be a Lord of the Rings and a Warhammer set coming out, Warhammer 40K, and now this. So the mechanics and the play for Magic are super solid. So why not put that into different themes and genres? So let's take a look at one of the other things here, Jesse. I'm going to bring it up here. This is, again, one of the promo images that they brought up. And yeah, this is dragons. Again, how do you have Magic without dragons? And of course, we've got these looking like the more traditional, like the Chinese/Japanese dragons here. And look at the card here.
Wow.
Man, this is super cool. We've got a legendary creature, an ogre demon. So again, embracing all of that, Japanese influence stuff, onis, magic, samurai. So it looks super, super cool. Can't wait for this set. This particular set, we have had a lot of people already since that trailer dropped pre-order it. And I'm going to ask you to just bring up this next slide here because this is one of the things that people are going nuts for. So in Magic the Gathering, you have land cards. Land generate you mana, and these are just your basic mana cards. So here's only 3 out of the 5, but you'll get kind of the idea. So on the left, you've got like the plains, which generate you white mana. And then you've got blue mana, there's the water, and the red mana. And all of them have this kind of traditional Japanese style art. Looks incredible. So we had to mention it because, Magic's such a big part of our store. And this set looks like it is going to be just crazy, crazy cool. And like I said, it's coming out in January, not January, sorry, in February. So put that on your radar as well. The Wizards of the Coast got some information on their website for you to check out about that set. You can see even more of the cards they're promoting. I would love to do a deep dive into some of those more cards, but I am not the magic guru. So we're going to see if we can get some of the guys from Heroes World to talk a little bit more about it, because it's really exciting. And this particular, how Magic releases sets, they kind of release it in a block. So if you're not familiar with Magic, but you really like a cyberpunk setting, you could just buy these 2 card sets, so Kamigawa, the Neon Destiny, and whatever comes after, and just play with that. And I think that would be a load of fun.
I was gonna ask you. You brought up the draft boosters and
Yeah,
the what was the other thing? What's the
set
middle one?
boosters.
So me as a new player, if I wanted to jump into this, what's a draft booster? Do I just buy a draft booster and I can play, or
Okay.
how do I start the game if I wanted to jump in?
So if you were to jump into it, a draft booster is a you get 15 cards in the booster, and it's kind of made for you to play by buying 3 packs and having like a tournament game with 6 other players or 8 other players, in which you are going to choose a card, pass the card or the rest of the pack around, and then you keep doing that until all 3 packs are done. It's not your introductory format to it. If you wanted to start playing the game, you would probably want to dive into maybe one of the bundles, or if they make what's called a starter deck product. I haven't seen if they're going to have a starter deck for this particular set just yet. But insofar as if you bought enough draft booster packs, you could build a deck. And that's how people used to traditionally build Magic decks. You'd buy cards and try and get the cards you need in order to build your deck. But depending on how rare those cards were, sometimes you'd have to buy a lot. So people would just buy the cards individually that they wanted. So if you are looking at this, I say, getting into the game and you wanted a lot more variety, then you go for the set booster cards, because you're going to get more rares in it and not as much repetition in your packs, right? So that's why they call it the set, because you're like somebody collecting for the set. But again, you can play with all of them. And if you're really chasing those alternate art cards and stuff, you're going to look into getting the collector boosters, which are a lot of fun. But the price tag is a little bit more steep on those ones. So yeah, so it's a lot of fun. So hopefully we'll get a chance to check out some of those cards when they come in, because I know we're both fans of Cyberpunk, even that new video game that just came out. And you still read the Blade Runner comics. I'm into Shadowrun, so it's a theme that we are definitely down with. So speaking of being down with stuff, it is the holiday season, so we like to do this little segment called the Heroes World Wish List. And this episode, we're focusing on a brand new set of Marvel Legends action figures that just came out. Now, if you recognize this handsome gentleman here, that is Colossus, but a very unique version of Colossus. This is Colossus from the storyline, the Age of Apocalypse. So what is the Age of Apocalypse? It is basically a world where Charles Xavier does not exist, and Magneto leads a team called the Amazing and the Astonishing X-Men. In this reality, the mutants are all shaken up. There's some guys, good guys, some guys, bad guys become good guys, and good guys become bad guys. Scott Summers was on the bad guy team. Sabretooth was on the good guy team. Magneto led the X-Men, so it's very, very cool. As you can see from this image here, the set is 7 different figures, and if you buy all of them, you get to build the giant Colossus figure. So first up, we have the leader, as I mentioned, Magneto, and he looks super cool. Extra head sculpt there. I really like that helmeted head version and kind of the white eyes, like he's using his power. So again, this figure and all of them look exactly like they did in the comic books. And that's a classic book that came out in the late 90s and early 2000s, but it's a fan favorite. And this is the second line of Marvel Legends figures to be featured from that comic book series. So after Magneto, we've got Rogue up next. And again, this is kind of like a more stylized Rogue. She's got a little bit more hair. And in this one, her and Magneto were an item. So yeah, they were kind of the pair that was leading the X-Men, and they were romantically involved. The X-Men team was very, very different in it. And they had all sorts of other different teams like Excalibur and Factor X. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff in this universe. This is Cyclops. Cyclops was a prelate. I think he worked for Mr. Sinister. So yeah, you can see him there. The difference here with this, why he is Cyclops, you see his eye beam only has one eye. That's because Wolverine gutted his other eye, not gutted, but pierced his other eye. So he
Wow.
truly is a Cyclops in that with one eye beam there. And then we've got Shadow Cat, and she's got her claw weapons there. Pretty cool. She was very good in that timeline. And Sabretooth, Victor Creed, this is when he was a good guy. Again, that alternate head sculpt is really cool, but I kind of like the smirk on the standard one there, right? And then we've got Legion, and Legion is Professor X's son with Moira McTaggart, and he was the responsible for creating this alternate timeline and stuff. So yeah, so it's very, very cool set. And then, like I said, if you get all of those, you get to build the Colossus, who is actually substantially larger than the rest of the figures, as Colossus should be. So that is our Heroes World wish list gift recommendation for you guys. Anybody who's a Marvel fan would probably know that timeline and have fond memories of it. And now if they collect figures, they can definitely add that series to their set. So to make a great gift or a great gift for yourself. Remember, it's the time of year to treat yourself as well. And especially, it's been a hectic and rough couple of years with COVID. So make sure you take some time to enjoy yourself. Make time for yourself, whether it's reading comics, playing video games, watching The Witcher, watching Spider-Man. Take time to do something for yourself. Take time to enjoy yourself and your hobbies. And Jesse, I'm going to let you take us through the end cap here. Where can you find us throughout the rest of the
Heroes World Online is the safest bet. If you search that in Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, you can find videos, you guys are posting pictures almost every day of new products coming into the store.
Yep.
New comics. If you type that into the old YouTube, every Sunday there's the Heroes World main podcast where you guys discuss everything from comics to movies to what's going on in the TV world. I think currently they are talking about Hawkeye, right? Hawkeye number 5, I believe, is on deck for this Sunday. Just gonna throw one thing out there, a little Easter egg from the Hawkeye show is Hawkeye's mug that he drinks out of in a certain location says Thanos was right. Just a little set dressing there that's funny. Mondays we got the Sidekick Show where Rob and John go over movie topics. Last week they did Die Hard 2, the Christmas film that's not a Christmas film. Thursdays we got So What Did I Miss, where we got movie news, trailers, toy leaks, everything. And Friday, of course, TGIF, the best day of the week, where Andre and I go over comic books, graphic novels, and anything else that catches our eyes during the week.
Yep. And all the cool stuff that we get in the store and much, much more. So thank you all for joining us. Be safe out there. Be smart. But remember to also have fun.